In today's video, we're going to take it back to a little bit classic steady crafting. We did a video before about a metal film prop that's safe to throw at people. But I said, what if we do something a little more complicated? This is where I keep adding little video topic ideas to, and I check them off when I'm complete. So many videos. Wow, you must be wore out, craft man. But I said, look at this right here. Do y'all think we can build an ultra-realistic hatchet that is safe? Let's try to. First, we need to disassemble this mama jama. There we go. We starting to get loose now, yeah. All right, so we have our hatchet separated into multiple pieces. That's our little wedge that was used to create pressure on the inside of that tool handle to keep it in the eye of the axe head. But we want to create two different molds, okay? One for the handle and one which is going to be just a slight bit more complicated because we got to do a three-part mold on it, you know. See that right there? That's our tricky part. How do we handle that, craft man? I don't know. I'm just kidding. I know. Craft man, write some things down before you come out here and try to make a craft better. Oh. We've got our hatchet here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some epoxy sculpt, and we're just going to take the epoxy sculpt and smooth and just make that look more prettified. All right, check this out. I'm using a wire brush to help pop that wood grain so that it comes through in our copy. This will emphasize all the little crevices and creases, which can be nice when it comes time to blackwash and weather it later on. Now we don't want our handle to be floppy, so I got some PEX pipe, semi-flexible water tubing. What you don't want to use for the core of your prop is like a kebab or something sharp that's going to poke through. I like to use bluntified objects like this right here. A little more safer, you know. Before we can make a mold of our hatchet head, we need a container. Okay, that'll work. It's deep enough to hold our silicone and will also allow for us to build up a clay bed. A clay bed setup is invaluable for situations where you want to control where that seam line goes. In this case, we wanted to follow the natural edges of our hatchet. But first we need to take care of the inside part of our hatchet. And I'm going to do that using some of my leftover silicone putty. Why not, you know? Easy mode silicone putty, I use it all the time. It's just a 1-to-1, A to B, easy to mix, easy to use.
I wonder why I question. Why I wonder. Weird. Try. I see. Try again. I see. Now try. I see. Try again. Wonder.
Now I'm just sticking some little odds and ends to make some registration keys so the mold halves will lock together.
That is correct.
And now is when I got extra nervous because look, this big old bucket of silicone, look at all I got. That's all my silicone I got left of this, at least of this type of silicone. We are just going to make it happen with what we got. No Amazon ordering this time, baby.
That is correct.
Now what about our hatchet handle over here? Well, Craftman decided to grab my leftover rebound silicone, which is a brushable 2-part silicone. Another one that's easy to mix. It's just 1-to-1, A to B. But the benefit of it is it allows us to save a lot of volume of material because we can brush it on in multiple thin layers. And it's definitely going to pick up all that little wood grain detail. Silicone can be dissolved and cleaned off your brush with mineral spirits. The first half of our axe head mold is cured. So now I'm just going to carefully open the opposite side so that we can remove the clay. Now as I'm doing this, watch, I'm going to kind of hold my finger against our hatchet head. It would be very easy to lift it out the silicone. We don't want to do that. And now, very important, we got some petroleum jelly. I'm going to rub it all over the silicone to prevent the next half from sticking to it. All right. This mold is cured, so we got 1, 2, technically 3-part mold right there. But let's turn our attention to this conglomeration. Craftman, what you trying to do over here? So I've let the excess fall down into this bucket, creating us a base, you know, and I got my helping hands here, just keeping it from toppling over. Since we're going full jerry-rigged with all this, I said let's take some chopped up old silicone mold and add them to the base. That's going to give us some weight and help the mold to stand up on its own. And then I dumped all the rest of the rebound silicone all over it. Making a mess, but at least we got some kind of a little janky mold here. I had no plan for how to demold the handle. At first I thought I'd go for something like this that could open up, you know, like a flower, I don't know. Then decided to just cut it straight across and a chunk tore off on me. That's okay. I have a little bit of a totally different silicone left.
I wonder. Why I question. Why I wonder. Weird.
The handle was easy to remove thanks to having a taper. At the last minute, I decided to add some registrations so that our axe head can lock into our handle later on. I also saw this spot right here where bubbles can catch, so we're just gonna cut a little air vent right through there. And now for the mica powder. In my opinion, this is where you begin to achieve your realism, because we're gonna take mica and rub it onto the mold. You want to vary your shades of color.
That is correct.
Take your time on this part. Then be sure to wear breathing protection, alright? I'm taking a little black mica powder and letting it cake up just a little bit in a few areas to simulate pitting of the metal. And now I'm just cutting a little pour spout opening after the fact. Not very professional, but we just hacking our way through this project, you know. Here you can see the shiny metallic quality already on the mold surface. And I'm using some cardboard as a backing to keep things kind of straight, you know. Now, we also want to mix mica powder into our resin, but only on the B side first. I'm also going to add a little black pigment. I find that helps when I'm trying to get a metallic surface. And once we got it mixed up like we like it, then we're going to mix A and B parts together.
Correct.
And I jerry-rigged me some tape around here as a reservoir because you typically want excess resin on top to kind of allow for bubbles and sinkage and things like that. Now while our X-head cures, check out this setup right here. We've got our handle core, our pipe that I've chopped on and scuffed up so that the resin can bite down and grab it. But we want the core to stay in the middle. How can we ensure that? Well, we can use our little epoxy tumbler spinner, and this will also allow us time to figure out a color. We can actually take our time and figure out a good brown color just in mix it in the B side. That looks all right. Now we can mix the A and B parts together. And the idea is we coat the whole car with the color, and so that way we ain't got to worry about it. It's going to be coated all around. The only slight little issue I ran into was our car tried to float up on me, look. But we took our little X-Acto friend here and made a vent hole so that it could sink down. Boom shakalaka. All right. It actually turned out better than I expected. Let's continue our jerry rig process and cut us some little registrations right here. You should technically have this be part of your mold, but Craftsman's just manually cutting little points. All right. Man, that feels nice. The texture and physical details have been captured, but when compared to the originals, look, we can see we've got some aging and weathering to do. I have some Maker Propane Flex additive from a previous project. This helps paint stick to flexible surfaces. You can use it in conjunction with Maker Propane, but I'm just going to use mica powder like we've been doing, and also use it with these cheap Hobby Star paints for the handle.
Try. I see. Try again. I see. Now try. I see. Try again. Wonder. Learn. Improve. Discover. I serious.
Now, absolutely, there's even more we can do to this. Perhaps you can add rust to the metal surfaces, but be sure if you're using this in a film or theatrical production, whatever you put on this needs to be safe, for skin contact. And you still, even though look at that, that's soft and flexible, but you still, well, it don't hurt too bad, but I wouldn't go whack somebody upside the cranium with it. For that, I would consider using some silicone, for the hatchet head. Yeah. So many materials being used, but the point is there's better materials that you can use, and we still got these results, which I think are satisfactory. Let's just say, yeah. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love y'all. And until next time, keep on steady crafting.